Imagine coming home early from a long business trip, only to find a stranger living in your mansion, sleeping in your bed, eating your food, and acting like they own the place. Now imagine that stranger calling the cops on you, insisting you're the intruder. I'm a cybersecurity consultant who came home 2 weeks early from Tokyo and found the HOA president living in my mansion wearing my late wife's robe. I didn't rush her out, I built an airtight case first. 6 months earlier, I bought a modern glass and steel house in an Oakline subdivision. The HOA president, Barbara Clean, showed up within a week, clipboard in hand, and started policing tiny things: my sleek mailbox, a Japanese maple, even garbage bin timing. Petty fines and condescending notices followed. Neighbors called it the Barbara treatment. When a month-long contract in Tokyo came up, I notified the board as required, May 1, June 1, and left, trusting my state-of-the-art smart home setup to protect the place. Halfway through the trip, my alerts flagged activity: thermostat changes, new groceries logged by the smart fridge, Plex streaming when nobody should have been home. I pulled up the internal camera feeds and watched Barbara and her husband Gary cozy up on my sofa, feet on my ottoman, drinking from my crystal glasses. The HOA had a controversial emergency key bylaw. Barbara, as president, held those keys. She let herself in, moved in, and treated my home like a luxury Airbnb. I wanted immediate justice, but raw anger would have been a mess. Instead, I became methodical. From Tokyo, I downloaded every second of footage from 16 HD cameras, aggregated server logs, tracked power and appliance usage, and enabled audio on internal mics, one-party consent where I live. I saved a phone call, Barbara bragging he won't be back till the 1st, will be out by the 31st, and labeled it Exhibit A. That audio proved intent. I contacted my lawyer, David Chen, encrypted the evidence, and planned a two-pronged strike: criminal complaint and civil dismantling of her HOA power. We let her get cocky, then I flew back 2 weeks early, May 15. I approached on foot, recorded discreetly, and let Barbara call 911 and weave her own false narrative. When police arrived, I gave ID, unlocked the biometric door with my thumb, and my lawyer played Barbara's confession. The rest unfolded on my front porch: arrest, charges, restitution, and the beginning of the end for her reign. From Tokyo, the house became a live lab. My smart home wasn't a toy, it was a forensic suite. Every sensor, door, window, thermostat, fridge, espresso machine, generated logs. I'd built health checks that flagged anomalies, and when the thermostat spiked to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, or the fridge registered new items I never bought, my monitoring alerted me. The Plex account streamed 3 hours of reality TV. The Sonos logs showed cheesy 80s soft rock playlists. Power draw graphs revealed guest bedroom usage inconsistent with an empty home. I exported everything into timestamped folders, cross-referencing events so nothing stood alone. Most critical: video plus audio. I legally activated internal camera microphones and recorded multiple conversations. One call, Barbara to a friend, had her crowing about making sure everything's operational and mocking my absence. 2 days later, she argued with Gary in the kitchen. His nervous, "What if he comes back early?" and her flat reply, "He won't, I have his itinerary," was the smoking gun. That line proved knowledge and intent to conceal. I labeled it Exhibit A, backed it up to secure servers, and compiled a minute-by-minute timeline proving continuous occupation for 17 days. I built a spreadsheet inventory. Espresso bean weight drops matched increased cappuccino events. Scotch bottle levels tracked with party timestamps. Smart toilet logs gave additional use markers. Yes, ridiculous, but definitive. I also captured footage of Barbara trying on my late wife Eleanor's clothes. An emotional line that turned this from procedural violation into a profoundly personal affront. I looped in David Chen. He mapped 2 tracks: criminal trespass, theft, and civil dismantling of the HOA's emergency key authority. The plan hinged on timing: return early, let Barbara escalate, call 911, present physical proof, ID plus biometric unlock, and then unload the digital dossier in front of officers and neighbors. We synchronized. I flew home quietly, approached on foot to maximize witnesses, and let the trap spring. The audio played, the video ran, Gary cracked, and Barbara's self-crafted narrative collapsed into public evidence. Officers made the arrest. The digital trail was airtight. The facts did the talking. After the arrest, the fallout was surgical. Barbara pleaded to avoid a protracted trial once shown the mountain of time-stamped media: 16 camera hours, server logs, smart appliance data, and Exhibit A. Her attorney negotiated a plea: criminal trespass theft downgraded, probation, fines, mandatory counseling, and restitution. I itemized consumed goods down to coffee beans and single malt pours. David presented that invoice. The restitution check I redirected to a housing charity, poetic justice for money extracted via abuse of shelter. But the bigger victory was systemic. Armed with evidence, I attended the emergency HOA meeting and calmly but firmly laid out how an emergency key bylaw had been weaponized. Neighbors who had been fined for a flowerbed color finally saw the enforcer revealed as a thief. The board's enablers folded. The meeting moved to permanently repeal the bylaw. The old board resigned in disgrace. I declined a nomination to lead the HOA. Instead, I endorsed Arthur, the retired engineering professor who'd been a steady neighbor. He led a transparent, reasonable redesign of HOA governance focused on community, not petty policing. Emotionally, the case closed a loop. Seeing Barbara in my home, trying on my late wife's scarf, cut deep, but the methodical collection of evidence let me avoid a messy confrontation and ensured justice without vigilantism. I reclaimed symbols. The ugly green mailbox she'd forced on me was gone, my sleek black steel mailbox returned. The neighborhood exhaled. Sitting on my back patio, months later, scotch in hand, I reflected on lessons from this wild ride. Patterns matter, data is power, and patience beats fury. Bullies rely on the assumption you won't respond. When you do, with facts, timing, and restraint, their authority evaporates. The quiet returned, and with it a reminder. A good security system is a little tech, a lot of patience, and the discipline to let proof do the work.